At first glance, Assetto Corsa's approach to the racing genre may not appear unique or even new, but once you delve in, racing wheel in hand, it's evident that the developers have focused on translating the sense of driving to a level that may just redefine the racing genre. But will Assetto Corsa's approach place it amongst the greatest racing titles ever, or will it be a forgotten name in years to come? Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Test Drive. Today I'll be showing you Assetto Corsa. So if it's a title you're contemplating grabbing and want to learn a bit more about, stay tuned. And if you're anyway interested in car or racing titles, be sure to check out my other review and comparison videos. In recent years, titles have often followed a cookie-cutter formula. Start with a slow, cheap car, win races, win money, upgrade your car, win more races, buy a new car, upgrade your new car, and end up with 200 cars in your garage that all feel the same because they have 1,000 horsepower. Developer Kunos have taken a different approach, an approach that other titles have taken before and as a result may have exiled the more laid-back casual gamer. What we have with Assetto Corsa is a title unlike any other, an easy to pick up simulation title that translates the unique nuances and pleasures of driving like no other game before it. Assetto Corsa was originally released for early access in November 2013 and left early access as a final release version in December 2014. Since then, it has gone through numerous version updates which have tweaked and improved on gaming elements. Now the developers aren't new, having created the popular Netcar Pro title and Ferrari Virtual Academy, and retrospectively it's evident that they share many similarities with this latest title. Assetto Corsa comes with a base selection of 60 vehicles, ranging from production cars, supercars to outright race cars. The first car I ever experienced was the tame Abarth 500 in career mode, and the translation of body roll and weight transfer under braking was something I'd never experienced before. The response I felt through my force feedback steering wheel as I felt the front tyres struggled to turn the car into the corner while simultaneously sensing power on understeer as I mashed the throttle pedal on corner exit was enough to convince me this game may be something special. As I found out, it's the unique sense of individualism per car that makes driving them all a unique and fun experience. The brutal feel of the Ferrari F40 as boost kicks in and you mash the clutch and shift through the H-pan shifter. The rear wheels squirming and gliding on the track with the utmost elegance and poise. The modern McLaren MP4 12C with lightning fast paddle shifters and effortless power instills a sense of confidence in you. Jump into the Nismo GTR and the roar of the engine, its four-wheel drive system almost guiding you around corners like you're on train tracks. It was at this point I realised what Assetto Corsa was about and what made it unlike any other games I'd played before it. I could easily go on and continue this review as one would expect, but what makes Assetto Corsa so special are the unique behaviours of each individual car, their power, suspension, body characteristics. It's almost as if the game itself shouldn't be reviewed but rather the individual cars themselves. Every variant class of car you jump into makes it feel like you're playing a new game. Having grown up playing the Gran Turismo series, it seemed unusual to not be bombarded with a huge car selection. But when cars feel so unique and individual, there's no point having a 500 plus selection of cars if they all feel and sound the same. All the car models have been meticulously recreated, both inside and out, every inch of the cars having a level of detail that makes you want to just reach out and touch their shiny carbon fibre parts. All cars have unique engine notes as well, which just add to the greater sense of immersion of the game. Assetto Corsa's base track list isn't the largest or most extensive. Silverstone, Spa, Imola, the Nürburgring and Monza are the tracks the majority will recognise. Included as well are a few Italian racetracks, Mugello, Magione and Vallelunga, which also just happens to be the location of Kunos headquarters. What makes the track selection so special though is they've been recreated using laser scanning technology, a process that has enabled the tracks to be recreated to millimetre accuracy. If there's a bump, dip, verge, gradient in the road, you'll feel it. Your steering wheel giving you feedback as you feel the suspension load and unload. The tyres struggling to keep in contact with the road, instilling a sense of fear into you that at any second you could be thrown off the track and straight into the wall. Now, Assetto Corsa also comes with the option of purchasable DLC, which offer additional cars and tracks. Having tried all the DLC, my picks would have to be Dream Pack 1, which include what I think is the greatest racetrack in the world, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and McLaren's insane hypercar, the P1. The Japanese pack is another must-have, as it includes some of the most iconic Japanese cars in history. I almost feel these two DLCs should be included in the base content, they're just that good. Dream Pack 2 adds Circuit de Catalunya, Dream Pack 3 adds Brands Hatch, and the latest release, the Red Pack, adds the Austrian Red Bull Ring along with 2 officially licensed Ferrari F1 cars. I'm not going to delve into all the individual cars found within these packs, as I could ramble on forever, but there's likely cars and tracks to cater for everyone's tastes and preferences. Now, I would be lying if I told you that I like the DLC approach to gaming, as I feel it excludes and leaves certain players out of the full enjoyment of Assetto Corsa. And if online multiplayer racing is your thing, you won't be allowed to join a race unless you own the content found within the race server you're attempting to join. Now, with that being said, you could just wait until a Steam sale and pick up the game, including all DLCs, for half price. In terms of game modes, Assetto Corsa offers a few. They include your standard practice, hot lap, time attack, drift, drag race, quick race, longer race weekend, and online multiplayer modes. What I'll touch on quickly now though are the special events and career modes. Now, the special events are a game mode that consists of a series of challenges, ranging from drag racing, drifting, to time attack to outright racing. It's here I had my first taste of drifting, albeit it finished in a flaming, crashing inferno. I was left with an unrelenting urge in the back of my mind to improve, as it's not something I originally picked the game up for, but eventually became one of my favourite features of the game. When I first fired up Assetto Corsa, and like many racing titles I'd played before it, I jumped straight into the career mode, and surprisingly, wasn't met with any fancy video introductions or voiceovers announcing I'm part of an up-and-coming team. In fact, if anything, the initial presentation of the career mode felt underproduced, almost as if it shouldn't have been included in the game at all. There were no license tests, I didn't have a garage, I couldn't buy cars, I couldn't upgrade cars. It didn't feel like I was progressing or being rewarded for finishing the races and progressing through my career, and here's why. From the outset, Assetto Corsa gives you access to all cars, and that to me seemed to take away from the need to progress through or even bother with the career mode. If all the cars in the game were locked from the start, the career mode would have made for a great opportunity to progress through and be rewarded by gradually unlocking and accessing the more exotic and exclusive cars. Think of it like playing Sonic or Mario, but being able to select whichever level you want to start from because you have access to all of them. It's just not the same. With over 500 hours of total gameplay in Assetto Corsa, the hours I've spent in career mode could be counted on a single hand, and that's attempting the career mode 2 or 3 times. In terms of overall single player racing though, since version 1.7, the game's AI do a great job at keeping you honest, and if you dial in the AI strength just right, you can be sure to be in for some super close racing. Where Assetto Corsa really shines though is its online multiplayer mode. Initially, you will find a lot of bad drivers, first corner wreckers and drivers who either have no idea what they're doing or probably should have spent more time practicing in single player mode. However, servers that implement a minor rating are some of the closest and fairest racing I've found online, as it rates you based on how close and cleanly you drive to other drivers without touching them or causing incidents. If you want the best online experience, I've found you need to either be playing on a minor rating server or join a few online leagues where racers generally know each other and drive courteously and with fairness. Another great feature of Assetto Corsa that really extends its playability is its modding community, with some cars and tracks being reproduced to such a high level that it could be part of the game itself. Be sure to check out my top 10 Assetto Corsa car mods video for a small taste of what's out there. It really can't be emphasised enough just how much the car and track mods add to Assetto Corsa. I could save that for an entire other video alone. One of my most enjoyable features of Assetto Corsa though, and this was something I didn't have an interest in initially when I picked the game up, was how well it simulated drifting. If you have absolutely no interest in drifting, much like myself initially, Stay away from Assetto Corsa because it will drain hours from your life as you learn to perfect that perfect slide. Once you learn how to drift, and it will take some time, there's just a certain enjoyment that comes from finessing a car on the brink of its limit from what may appear visually as borderline uncontrollable. For a racing simulator, it's amazing how well the underlying physics replicate drifting so very well. Now, one thing I do want to mention is how important using a steering wheel is for a game of this caliber. Now, although still fun, using a control pad really doesn't do justice to the experience you could be getting from a force feedback steering wheel. So much so that it is a complete game changer. Even a cheap second-hand wheel like the Logitech Driving Force GT will completely change your gaming experience. One important fact to mention is the fact that Assetto Corsa does not replicate or have any severe weather conditions. Lightning, rain, thunderstorms, standing puddles of water, nor does it simulate night driving. As a game that has a key focus on simulating and replicating the pleasures of driving, it is a shame that these could not have been included, as it would have made this already amazing game just that much better. Maybe it will be something for Assetto Corsa too. So what are my final thoughts on Assetto Corsa? I personally think and love the approach Kunos have taken. They've created one of the easiest to pick up racing simulators, a simulator for everyone. The die-hard fanatics with multi-screen setups and simulator rigs costing thousands, to the beginner with that cheap entry-level steering wheel. It's a title that you may just spend hundreds of hours playing, driving around in countless loops, falling in love with all the individual nuances of the cars. If you're in any way a car enthusiast, you need to do yourself a favour and grab this title. That there was my review of Assetto Corsa. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this from me in the future, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all again next time.